motorcycle world is full of machines that try to balance performance, style, and accessibility, but very few manage to get it right in the way the Ducati Streetfighter V2 does. This bike is not just a stripped-down Panigale V2, it's a machine with its own identity, its own character, and one that sits perfectly in Ducati's lineup between the everyday monster and the outrageous Streetfighter V4. Today, let's dive deep into everything that makes this motorcycle so exciting. We're going to talk about its design, riding experience, performance, handling, electronics, comfort, and of course, how it compares in terms of pricing and value. At first glance, the Streetfighter V2 is unmistakably Ducati. The styling is aggressive, sharp, and purposeful. The front end looks menacing, with its wing-like LED RLs shaped like angry eyebrows. The design isn't overdone though. It carries that signature Italian flair, but in a more compact, approachable form compared to the Streetfighter V4. From the side profile, you immediately notice the muscular fuel tank, the sculpted and the exposed mechanics that show off the Panigale-derived frame and engine. It's a naked bike, but it doesn't look bare. It looks athletic, like a fighter in peak condition. Ducati paid attention to every detail, from the matte finished frame to the high-quality switchgear, and the premium Brembo brakes with those signature red calipers. It's the kind of bike that makes people turn their heads even when it's standing still. Of course, styling is just the surface. Underneath, the Streetfighter V2 is powered by a 955cc Super Quattro L-twin engine. This is the same engine you find in the Panigale V2, but tuned and mapped for road use. It produces around 153 horsepower at 10,750 revolutions per minute and 101 Nm of torque at 9,000 revolutions per minute. Now, those numbers may not sound as crazy as the Streetfighter V4, which rockets well past 200 horsepower, but trust me, 153 horses in a naked bike weighing just 200 kilograms is more than enough to give you a thrilling ride. The torque curve is broad and usable, making it friendly for everyday riding, while still delivering that explosive punch when you twist the throttle wide open. It's a bike that feels fast, but not overwhelming, and that's what makes it so special. It gives you superbike DNA without the intimidation factor. The chassis is another highlight. Ducati has used the monocoque frame derived from the Panigale, which means rigidity and stability are baked in. Suspension duties are handled by fully adjustable Showa, big piston forks at the front, and a Sachs monoshock at the rear. These aren't just for show. They provide excellent feedback and can be dialed in for street comfort or track aggression. On twisty roads, the bike feels nimble and precise, and on the highway, it remains planted and stable. The single-sided swing arm not only looks stunning, but also contributes to the handling dynamics by keeping weight distribution balanced. It's one of those bikes that makes you want to lean into corners again and again just to feel that fluid movement. Braking is handled by top-shelf Brembo M4.32 monoblock calipers up front, paired with twin 320mm discs. The stopping power is phenomenal, with plenty of bite and feel at the lever. The AB system is cornering sensitive, meaning it adjusts based on your lean angle to keep things safe without cutting performance. Ducati has always been known for equipping their bikes with premium hardware, and the Streetfighter V2 is no exception. The braking inspires confidence, which is crucial on a bike with this level of performance. Speaking of electronics, the Streetfighter V2 comes packed with rider aids. It features a 6-axis IMU that enables cornering abs, traction control, wheelie control, and engine braking control. All of these are adjustable through riding modes, which include sport, road, and wet. Ducati also provides a quick shifter up and down, as standard, which makes gear changes seamless and adds to the thrill of acceleration. The electronics package doesn't feel intrusive. Rather, it feels like a safety net that allows you to push harder without worrying about losing control. For riders stepping up from smaller bikes, this is a huge advantage. It allows you to explore the bike's performance gradually without feeling punished for mistakes. Comfort is another area where the Streetfighter V2 shines compared to its bigger V4 sibling. The riding position is sporty, but not extreme. You're leaning forward slightly, but it's nowhere near as aggressive as the Pen. The handlebars are wider and higher, and the foot pegs are positioned for a balance between sport and comfort. This makes it a bike you can actually ride daily, commute on, or take for long weekend rides without needing a chiropractor afterward. The seat height is around 845mm, which might be a stretch for shorter riders, but the narrow profile of the seat helps keep it manageable. Wind protection is minimal, as expected on a naked bike, but at reasonable speeds, it's not a big issue. It's only when you push past 150 km/h that you really start feeling the wind blast. Not now. Let's talk about real-world performance. performance. On city streets, the Streetfighter V2 feels surprisingly friendly. The throttle response in road mode is smooth, and the clutch is light. Filtering through traffic isn't difficult because of the bike's slim profile. But once you get onto open roads and switch into sport mode, the bike transforms. The throttle becomes sharper, the suspension stiffens, and the exhaust note deepens into that iconic Ducati growl. Acceleration is thrilling, with 0 to 100 kilometers per hour coming in under 3 seconds if you launch hard. The quick shifter makes it effortless to blast through the gears, and before you know it, you're at triple-digit speeds. On twisty back roads, the handling is addictive. The bike tips into corners eagerly, holds its line, and rockets out with confidence. It feels alive, like it's urging you to ride harder, but without ever feeling like it's trying to kill you. This balance between excitement and usability is what makes it such a standout. Compared to the Streetfighter V4, the V2 is less extreme, and that's actually a good thing. The V4 is an incredible machine, but it can be too much for the street. With over 200 horsepower, it's hard to ever fully exploit it outside of a racetrack. The V2, on the other hand, gives you performance you can actually use and enjoy every day. It's fast enough to excite seasoned riders, but also manageable enough for someone upgrading from a middleweight bike. This makes it arguably the sweet spot in Ducati's lineup for naked bikes. Maintenance and ownership are also worth mentioning. Ducati has worked hard in recent years to make their bikes more reliable and easier to own. The Streetfighter V2 benefits from long service intervals, with oil changes every 15,000 kilometers and valve checks at 30,000 kilometers. That's a big step up from older Ducatis, which had a reputation for being expensive to maintain. Of course, being an Italian performance bike, parts and servicing will still cost more than your average Japanese naked, but that's the price you pay for the Ducati experience. And for many riders, that experience is worth every penny. When it comes to pricing, the Streetfighter V2 sits in an interesting position. In most markets, it's priced around $17,000 to $18,000 USD, depending on options and region. That makes it significantly cheaper than the Streetfighter V4, which can push past $25,000 easily. It's also more expensive than bikes like the Yamaha MT-09 or Kawasaki Z900, but those bikes don't offer the same level of premium components, Italian design, or pedigree. A closer competitor might be the Triumph Street 765RS, which is cheaper and lighter but has less outright power, or the KTM 890 Duke Art, which is incredibly sharp but lacks the refinement and finish of the Duke. In that sense, the Streetfighter V2 justifies its price by offering a unique blend of performance, style, and brand appeal. Riders who buy the Streetfighter V2 are often looking for more than just numbers on a spec sheet. They want a bike that makes them feel something every time they ride. They want that Ducati sound, that Italian design, that feeling of owning something special, and that's exactly what this bike delivers. It's not just transportation, it's an experience. Whether you're riding through the city, carving through mountain roads, or even doing the occasional track day, the Streetfighter V2 gives you the thrill of a superbike without the compromises of one. After spending time with this machine, it becomes clear that the Streetfighter V2 is not just a scaled-down version of its bigger sibling. It has its own personality, its own balance of performance and accessibility, and it stands out as one of the most exciting naked bikes on the market today. It's powerful, but not overwhelming. It's comfortable, but still sporty. It's premium, but not unattainable. In many ways, it might just be the perfect Ducati for riders who want superbike DNA in a package they can live with every day. That's what makes it a true street fighter in spirit and a Ducati at heart.